Imagine growing up without ever hearing about pain. A place where everyone is young, beautiful, healthy, where sadness doesn't even have a name. No wrinkles, no illness, no funerals. Just joy, music, dance, blooming gardens, and endless promises of pleasure. In that almost unthinkable setting, Siddhartha Gautama was born, the man who would later become the Buddha, the awakened one. From the very beginning, there was something unusual about him. Around the 6th century BCE, court astrologers predicted that the child was destined for one of two paths. He would either become the greatest king the world had ever known, or renounce everything to guide humanity to truth. His father, a mighty ruler, made his choice. He would ensure the boy followed the path of the throne, not of renunciation. Determined to shield his son from any influence that might steer him away from power, the king raised Siddhartha in total isolation inside a palace meticulously crafted to hide all signs of the real world. In that golden cage, Siddhartha knew nothing of aging. He had never seen illness. He was unaware of death. Surrounded by graceful dancers, poets, lush gardens, and endless feasts, he believed life was a banquet without end. But unease began to stir in his heart. As the years passed, he grew curious about what lay beyond the palace gates. If he was to be a ruler, how could he govern a people he had never seen? At 29, after much insistence, he was granted permission to leave the palace. The king tried to conceal the harsh realities of life by ordering the streets cleared of the sick, elderly, and dying. But fate had other plans. On his first outing, Siddhartha encountered an old man, frail, hunched, barely able to walk. Shocked, he asked his charioteer what it was. The answer was simple. He is an old man. Everyone grows old, including you. That moment shattered everything he thought he knew. If you're enjoying this story and want more unique content like this, now is the time. Give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us immensely and ensures you won't miss any deep and meaningful scripts we bring to life. On his second trip, he saw a man suffering from a severe illness. On the third, he witnessed a lifeless body being carried away by grieving family members. These encounters shook him to his core. The youth he believed to be eternal would vanish. Health was fleeting. Death inevitable. Suffering universal. On his fourth outing, he saw a calm man in humble robes. An ascetic, someone who had renounced material life in search of deeper meaning. The serenity in that man moved Siddhartha in a way no palace celebration ever had. In that instant, he knew he had to let everything go and search for answers. That very night, he left in silence. He abandoned his wife, his child, his riches, and his royal identity. For years, he wandered through forests and villages, joining other seekers. They lived off alms, meditated for hours, and rejected comfort. Siddhartha took it to the extreme, eating only fallen fruit, his body reduced to skin and bones, his mind a storm of doubt. And still, enlightenment remained elusive. On the verge of death from malnutrition, Siddhartha realized something that would change everything. Extreme suffering is also a form of imprisonment. Just as absolute pleasure offers no true peace, self-inflicted torment leads nowhere. Neither luxury nor deprivation had the answers. A new, balanced approach was needed, something between the extremes. This realization would later be known as the middle way. At that turning point, a young village girl offered him food, mistaking him for a divine spirit due to his emaciated appearance. He accepted. His companions, thinking he had abandoned the path, left him behind. They had no idea that this humble act would save his life and unlock his transformation. After regaining strength, Siddhartha sat beneath a fig tree, now called the Bodhi Tree, and made a solemn vow. He would not rise until he had discovered the truth about existence. For 49 days, he remained in deep meditation, facing visions, temptations, and memories. It was a silent battle against the boundaries of his own mind. At the end of that journey, at age 35, Siddhartha reached the highest state of consciousness, nirvana. In that moment, the Buddha was born, not a god, not a prophet, but a human being who had awakened. Soon after, he shared the core of what he had learned, the Four Noble Truths. They are simple in structure, but revolutionary in practice. 1. The truth of suffering. All living beings experience pain, loss, or dissatisfaction. It's inevitable because everything in life is impermanent. 2. The origin of suffering. Pain doesn't stem from what we lack, but from our attachment to things we cannot keep. 3. The end of suffering. By letting go of what we cannot control, pain begins to dissolve. 4. The path to end suffering. There's a practical route for this, known as the Noble Eightfold Path. This path is made up of 8 interconnected practices. Right understanding. Seeing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Right thought. Acting from compassion rather than anger or greed. Right speech. Speaking truthfully and with purpose. Right action. Living ethically and avoiding harm. Right livelihood. Choosing work that doesn't hurt others. Right effort. Constantly improving oneself. Right mindfulness. Being present in the moment. Right concentration. Train the mind to focus and see clearly. These practices don't promise miracles. They offer clarity. Buddha stood out because he never imposed beliefs, never demanded blind faith, and never promised salvation. He simply pointed to a path he had walked himself, and affirmed that anyone could do the same. Over time, his teachings spread. They reached villages, crossed deserts, climbed mountains, and sailed across oceans. And even after thousands of years, this philosophy still resonates with hearts and minds everywhere. Why? Because it speaks directly to human experience, regardless of culture, language, or era. Today, we live in an age of anxiety, distraction, comparison, and constant fear of inadequacy. The story of Buddha reminds us that suffering is not unique to us, and there is another way. Not to escape, but to look inward and live with greater awareness, serenity, and freedom from the cravings that trap us. Buddha wasn't divine. He performed no miracles. He simply woke up and showed that anyone can. To become a Buddha isn't to possess powers, but to see the world clearly, to act with compassion, and to live in balance. And if you made it to the end, it means this story spoke to something within you. So now's the time. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes, awakening starts with a simple choice, and maybe, for you, this is it.